Yo, GM. What's going on, everybody? It's Valentine's Day. I love you. Did you tell your Valentine that you love him yet? Or her? Whoever it is. It's that special day. GM, guys. Welcome to Taco Tuesday here on Web3 Breakfast. I'm really excited about this. We're going to be talking about some fun things today. Not only is it Taco Day, because, obviously it's Tuesday and that's what you eat on Taco Tuesdays is tacos or anything in a tortilla. Really, it doesn't have to be a taco; it just needs to be in a tortilla. Um, but really, really relating this over to how we can talk about the relationship between food products and NFTs, right? How can NFTs revolutionize the food industry? And I know the whole taco thing was just more of like a joke, but everybody loves Taco Tuesday. But the food industry is going to see a lot more transparency, a lot more safety and sustainability with with the inclusion of Web3 and NFTs. From farm to table, all that kind of stuff. So definitely looking forward to getting into that conversation this morning. CPI numbers came out today. ETH was looking like it was going to take a big drop, but it's actually kind of recovered quite a bit from the crazy wick that we saw down. But it's pretty typical for a. I made a put out a tweet this morning that said, it's obviously the CPI numbers coming out today. Are we all getting fucked on Valentine's Day? That's more of just a little joke, but I think we're at what a 0.5%, something like that is what where we were off from the projections. What's up? We got Turbo 7, Christy, Lady Boss Nat, Lady Boss Nat, Carrie, Corey. Ooh, and another Chains. What's up? GM, everybody. How we doing? Turbo, what's up, my dude? I had seen something like that. I mean, that's gonna end up being pretty good for the ability for people. I mean, for Solana, but I mean, it's an easy entry, right? Because MoonPay, I think you just use a credit card to get in, right? Are they? I mean, it has to be out of desperation. I mean, I think that's kind of what we all are all thinking, right? Like Solana almost went to RIP land a few weeks ago, a few months ago. So I think and literally they probably have to do anything that they can in order to get people into the ecosystem. Because what DeGod's left. There's a couple other NFT. There's another NFT project that left. A couple other ones are exploring, and they say it so they can be chain agnostic. But if projects that were exclusive to Solana are finding other blockchains to participate in, it's not. I don't think it's to become chain agnostic. I think it's to find a safer home with less bullshit. I think you got to do it out of necessity, right? I would say like with what Frank did with the gods and Utes pulling them off of Solana was a good thing, right? Like obviously, being that they were probably the premier NFT collection, those two collections on Solana, finding them a better home, like that's what I would have done. I think, obviously, what was it, $3 million or whatever he got to bring him over there. Business decision, personal decision, however you want to look at it. I thought it was the right decision, whether you agree with it or not. I think that's Frank and his team made a decision for them that was going to work, and I think ultimately at the end of the day, that was the right decision in my opinion. I thought Solana again was going to go to the grave. Not that it would die completely, but I didn't think that you'd see the resurrection that we saw. So good for the people that participate in the Solana ecosystem, for the NFT collections and projects and founders and all that. I mean, in the community, I think probably are the one who saved it. But that to me, Turbo, the question is, if you are in a blockchain and things aren't looking good and you have the upper hand, you do what it takes to survive as your project. That's what I would do, at least. Mhm. Really? I tell you what, man, India and China need to just, like, figure it out. Just just figure it out. That's all I gotta say. Just figure it out. There's too many times we're banning this and that. If you don't understand it, maybe learn, and then you won't wanna ban it. Well, I think that's probably something that will plague most ecosystems and industries forever, to be perfectly honest with you. It's all about the convenience, right? If, and there's a bunch of other sayings, right? Like what works for me doesn't work for you, or whatever the heck that was. When whatever. You know what I'm saying? Enforcement by or governance by enforcement, right? Isn't that what the SEC loves to do? Hey, at least we're gonna have tacos. We might be doomed, but at least we can have tacos today. Yes. So does that mean that if you had pre-planned this out, you may have dyed your taco shells pink? Yes, yes, it is. 100%. There's just nothing we can do about that sometimes. All right, so yeah, just some pink Doritos, some love Dorito. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, kind of getting back on track to what we wanted to talk about today. Obviously, Taco Tuesday. One of the things that I was kind of putting some information together about the show today, and what we wanted to talk about, and that when I was thinking like, oh, the whole funny idea of tacos, but farm to table. Like there are, and NFTs are just pictures right now, but we know that that's not the final direction that they're going in. You got to think of things like farm to table, right? So now, if you could, like when seeds are created, they are tracked on the blockchain. So now you can track that plant from the time that it grows until it turns into a produce and gets on the shelf and is bought at a point of sale system, right? That's just like this is where it's going, right? But there are so many benefits. There are, it's going to improve safety. It's going to improve transparency, all sorts of things in the food industry. Let's talk about that because, again, the whole idea of Taco Tuesdays and what in the hell do tacos and crypto and NFTs have in common? Well, I think that we can build that case today. Does that sound good? Austin, Texas. I think, like, what's the difference really between burritos and tacos and taquitos and all that stuff, right? It's all just a bunch of really good, tasty shit inside of a tortilla that you eat. That's it. Have you ever seen somebody when you go to like a Mexican? Have you ever gone to a Mexican restaurant and you see someone order a burrito and then they cut into it with a fork and a knife and then just start like just get a bowl. Just order a bowl. Don't order a burrito if you don't want the tortilla. Just don't do it. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you could always just get more salsa and sour cream and cheese and all that stuff, but you don't fork and knife a burrito. You just don't do that. The old fork and knife burrito. All right, so let's talk about a benefit of using an NFT to track food. What kind of increased transparency do you think that's going to provide? Mhm. Can we pause the conversation for a second and let's just break this down a little bit quickly, Turbo, because you were talking about chicken, and then you were talking about being a hot dog manager. Um, news I hope this is not news to you, sir. But hot dogs are not made with chicken. They're made with the lips and the assholes of pigs. Now you could get a beef dog. You can get a beef dog, but if you're just getting Oscar, like the ones that I put in my Super Bowl spread that were like Oscar Mayer cheese dogs, yeah, that was the not good stuff. Mm. Like beaks, bones, all that stuff. I would do bison. Oh man, you did it again. Now all I think about is blueberry waffles. Thank you. What else? What are some other things that as far as being able to, put produce or proteins or other food items onto the blockchain? How does that help the food industry? How does that help the consumer? Now there's definitely ways that it helps the producer, right? But how does it actually help the consumer? Now, one of the things that you were talking about was food contamination. Now where the chickens were. We're gonna use chickens for our example because chickens are the example today. So now you know where these chicken farm was, and you can make what informed decisions on whether there was a salmonella outbreak near this thing or whatever. Like what when you say like you're able to check like food contamination risks and everything. What are you talking about? Mhm. That's a great point. It's like that same thing with eating organic, right? In my opinion, yes, it is a much better thing to do, but is it cost effective? Maybe not. Like, I would love to be able to eat 100% organic, and for the most part, we do, but, like, sometimes, especially right now, groceries are kind of a little ridiculous, and so, you have to make some decisions like, "All right, if we're gonna do, all organic produce, maybe we gotta cut out something else so that, it doesn't shoot the budget." I think it's again, it's always, you've got to trade sometimes. I don't really think it's the same, argument if you're trading like, your convenience for or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's something you have to put into the whole equation is the cost and all that stuff. Secret, you good? Oh, go ahead, Turbo. I think, that was something that I got into. It was like the last 2 years of living in Austin and then coming here. My yard setup just wasn't the right thing, but that is something that I got into. And if you've ever grown a garden or started to try to grow your own produce, it's a labor of love, but it is very rewarding. I mean, like, oh, so good. I mean, to do like a thing of tomatoes and then basil, and then now you're eating your own like caprese salads. Like, come on, it's so good. Yes, absolutely. And that was, one of the warnings that, people had put out, was it last year or maybe even the year before when a lot of these things were starting to brew up with, the world and how we're, now you're seeing the eggs and, there's other farm issues that are happening throughout the world. So that was like the call to action was, learn how to be like, more self-sustaining. Learn how to grow some vegetables, some produce, some herbs, some, all those kind of things, some greens, because we're gonna need that shit. Because dang, nice. GM Carmen. I mean, yeah, I think it would be really cool, and this would take a lot of work, and probably each farm would need to implement their own team for this. But literally, like as a cow or what are they called? A baby heifer, I think that's what they're called, right? Or whatever. But Turbo, do you know the answer? Heifer. Okay, so okay. So whenever the baby's born, literally there is a team there that mints that process. So I mean, how cool would that be? Is that you got when you and guys, this is a long ways away, and this is a futuristic thing, but you buy a steak at the grocery store, and it comes with a code that you then now can redeem for that mint of when your cow was born. And it's all fractionalized, right? Because, like, you obviously, it's not the whole steak. That one steak is not the whole cow, but, it's all part of that whole thing so that you can see when that cow was born and the process of its life. You could track everything, what it was fed, everything, right? Like, this is the kind of shit that could happen. I know it sounds like futuristic, but stake your steak. Stake your steak, ladies and gentlemen. Mhm. That's cool. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. So back to the like let's just go back to the whole cow thing and minting and all that stuff. Do you think then we should come up with a line of grills called token burn? You know what I mean? So like when you grill that steak that we were talking about, you input that in there and then it then burns it. And then maybe once you burn 10, now this farm is notified that you're a consumer of their product. Somehow that gets into your reward program. Token burn. Toke Toke and burn. Yeah. Just, some dreadlocked hippie is the mascot for that grill. GM, sir, how are you? Definitely. That is definitely. You got time. It's still morning. As long as you brush your teeth by lunch, you're good. I can only imagine. Like this whole situation is crazy with all of these balloons, and now from what I understand, I read I didn't read the article, but I read a headline saying that we the United States that we are trigger happy, that we should have just what let these things float around in our skies. Give me a break. 100%. Mike, you got your hand up. What's up, my dude? You said ERC 19. Oh, a oh for algorithm. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so these are basically the upgradable NFTs. Is that like dynamic NFTs that you see on like ETH, where say it's the for the basketball players, as the season progresses, like that card may or that NFT may become more valuable because their stats have gone way up. You get the rookie of the year, you came into the league as a nobody, and now you're a superstar. So that NFT goes up in value just because of your performance. Is that kind of along the same lines? Okay, so then now, okay, go back to the food thing. Now you mint the one NFT for that cow being born, but then you can fractionalize it into say, the 50 cuts of meat that come out of that one cow. Something along those lines. Gotcha. Okay. Turbo. Okay. Carmen.
Yes.
Can I just say something really quick here and then Turbo, I want to come back to you. This has to be said, by the way.
Carmen's an island girl. She's an island girl.
Gotcha. I saw I saw a video of I can't remember his name, but they cut one of the guys cut his dreads off, his little antenna things. They're gone. So are you were gonna say something about sports? Mm. Has anybody I don't nobody probably knows this about me at all. In a former life before I got into this, I've done a shitload of things in my life, but I was a rancher out in Colorado. I did cattle drives. I did uh, rides through the Rocky Mountains, all sorts of really cool stuff. Has anybody ever participated in a cattle drive? You can just throw if you're not a speaker up on stage, you can just throw up like a thumb up or whatever. Has anybody ever actually done that? There was a. Did you ever see the movie City Slickers? I wasn't a city slicker. I was an actual. I could rope and ride and all that stuff. But that is an experience. If you ever get an opportunity to participate in a event like that, I suggest you do it. It is very hard work, but it is so rewarding and it is so cool. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, it's you. It's you. Mhm. They are hard workers. We got a comment from my homie Christy Fly right over on YouTube. He said, "I once watched City Slickers. That's it. Identify as a Billy Crystal." Oh man, I love that. So fun. Uh, I'm gonna be a cat. No, so it actually this was in um the middle of my life as a chef, as a working in restaurants. I was getting ready to make a big change when I was living in Colorado, and I actually applied for a job to be like a chuck wagon cook. That if you don't know what that is, it's like the guy I literally would like cook like 100 steaks in the back of a wagon while people would come off their horses and have a dinner, a trail ride dinner. And then that turned into me doing the trail rides. I was afraid of horses when I first started this, and then this whole thing. I got to tell you what, this was an experience. It was like one of those reality TV shows. It was like me and like three other guys, and then like 15 very attractive cowgirls. And so they did a lot of the rides, but they taught us all how to ride a horse. And so by the end of this tenure that I had there at the ranch, I could full canter. I could rope and ride. I could rope a cattle, all that stuff. So I learned how to actually be a cowboy. But so literally just responded to a job, learned how to ride a horse, and then now all of a sudden, a couple months later, I'm doing cattle drives out in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, freezing my ass off. But I tell you what, this is hands down one of the coolest things I have ever done in my entire life. And one part of that, this is going to be gross to some people, but my favorite part of the entire job was, now we had at one of the ranches, they had about 200 head of horse. You would go around in a skid steer and scoop up all the horse shit, drop it into the back of a dump truck, and then take that dump truck a few miles up the road and drop it into a ditch. Now, by the time you got done with your day, you had horse shit all over you, all over you, all over your hat, all over your face, all over your hands, but it didn't matter, right? And I was chewing Copenhagen like a madman at that point. Like I was a straight up cowboy. I loved it, loved it, loved it. So if you guys ever get a chance to participate in any kind of activity like that, I strongly suggest you do it, because it's hard work, and it teaches you a lot about yourself. So cheap labor. A haul. A haul from a load to a drop off. You live the experience. That's fully GM, sir. Got your hand up. Oh, and I see DJ Warrior popped in the house. What's up, dude? Thank you. Thank you. Calf. Okay. Thank you. That was the word we couldn't find.
My God, what's up, brother?
I just wanted to participate in this Web3 breakfast because I'm always missing it. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna make it happen today. But I'm here to listen and learn and connect and be part of the gang. That's all.
Gang, I love it. I love it, man. And so what we're talking about today, just DJ Warrior, was obviously it's Taco Tuesday, and so tacos are amazing, but really relating it more to how are producers of food, whether it's farmers with cattle doing protein or produce, how are these systems benefited by the incorporation of blockchain and NFTs. And so we've had a great conversation about that. I love being able to relate, these kind of topics and things that we're looking at, with building this Web3 ecosystem into everyday things. So maybe they become more relatable to people, and you have a different understanding of what really NFTs are and what they're about. Because when you hear people say like, "Oh, the monkeys," you're like, "Yeah, the monkeys," but that's not what NFTs are going to be in the future. So that was the basis of the conversation today, and it's been fun, man. Everybody is so cool. I love all the different perspectives. I think that this is one of the best communities in Web3, and I'm not just biased because y'all my homies, but I literally think like the thoughts, the perspectives, everything that comes out of these conversations, it's just it's so dope. And I appreciate everybody that participates and everybody that listens, because without any of it, y'all, this is it. This is the real deal.
I think it's a very positive community. Everybody shares their knowledge. This is what my experience so far, right? I hop in here and there, and I've been hanging out with Turbo on Twitter Spaces for a year. It'll be a year next month. So that's what I've noticed, So I think, the way you guys spread the positivity, knowledge, and actually share your experiences, and that's how people come together in a better, better way, instead of like, oh, shilling projects and this and that. Yeah, we're all here to make money too. Everybody has to make money. And Carmen, the beautiful Carmen. By the way, Carmen, I was listening to your Frank Nitty interview that you guys are doing. Dude, the way you speak, I was like, I could speak to her for hours, and this is not sugarcoating. I'm as blunt as it gets. I could learn because I have a lot to learn. So that's why I like to listen more, But thank you, Carmen. She's the goddess of the team. Yes.
That is a fact.
Thank you, DJ.
That is a fact.
We're gonna do great things together, man.
Oh, it's bound to happen, because that's why God put us together, the higher source. Everything has a reason behind why it happened. And it's so amazing. Like I was away from internet, meaning like social media, for a good minute. And when I got in Twitter Spaces last year, and when the first Twitter Spaces first launched, I was kind of into it. Then I got out of it because of some toxicity. And then last year around February, when I got back into it, I just met all these wonderful people. Like, the reason why I know Turbo, Jay Chains, Carmen, Bully Vox, and many others that I've met, wonderful people, and everybody's so positive. Everybody just like lifting each other up. And I just feel like this is the best place in social media. That's just my personal experience so far right now,
Heck yeah.
And it gets me motivated. I get to learn a lot of stuff too, and makes me want to do stuff, just being honest.
That's great, man. I think that that's the most important thing, is that we can use that collaboration, we can use that community as motivation, as the determination to make things happen. I posted something yesterday. Actually, this was something. There was a picture that my wife had sent me, and it definitely resonated big time. And so I posted it, and I think a lot of people agreed, because I got a lot of feedback on it and a lot of good engagement. And it's time to bet on yourself. Wake up and remember who the fuck you are. And so it's just like one of those things where every now and then you need to tell yourself, or you need to see that you just need to, like, all right, guys, this is the build market. We've got another somewhere between 9 and 12 months to really do as much as we can, so that when the bulls come back to town, when the attention comes back to town, when there are a lot more liquidity in this market, you need to be putting in this time right now. So it's, I have to remind myself, like, at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock when I get tired, dude, get a cup of coffee, wake the fuck up, put in a couple more hours, right? Or go to bed right now, and you thought you were going to wake up at 6, you better wake up at 4:30, and you got to put in that extra time, because right now is the time to put in that extra time, so that when we do have the opportunity to have more people in this ecosystem, all of the fruits of your labors, all of the the farm to table shit that we've been talking about, all the, as you can relate it like that, it all comes to fruition, and everything that you've done over this course of time, you made it. Like, you've made it in your own terms, in your own mind, right? That's the whole goal of the next year of your life, is to figure out where you need to be, make that bet on yourself, wake the fuck up, and get it done.
Yo, man, I want to add to that too, Jay, because it is Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? And you got to know right now, what are you willing to lose for this? What are you willing to give up and sacrifice right now? You know what I'm saying? Because I tried to talk to my ex-wife, and you know what I'm saying, and she didn't see it, and I did. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm spending this Valentine's Day lonely and thinking, like, damn, could I have made some changes? Could I have done some things a little bit differently? But I knew from the day that I was willing to put everything into this, because my vision for what I want from the Web3 is for my kids to be able to live in a world that's all inclusive, that everybody has an opportunity to speak their mind, and to be able to pay their bills doing the things that they love, and not flipping freaking burgers or having to go into a factory. My mom worked 3 jobs my whole life, man. We didn't have shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, she got me to this place. And so now it's my job to take my kids to the next place. So whatever that means, like, I'm all in. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of people we got to have around. Are you all in? You need to make that decision, because this is a tough time, but it's one of the greatest times to be alive.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. That all this stuff gets me excited, and I love everyone's perspective and everyone's energy right now. Yeah, like, are the prices where we want them to be? No, but when they do come back, I promise you, like, if you thought that, if this is your first time in a cycle and you love it right now, just wait. That's why you got to just keep building, because if you do that, I guarantee you think you got a smile on your face now, just wait till next year. What do you guys think? We got anything else to talk about today, or we want to shut this one down early?
Man, Jay, it's been a great conversation.
It is.
And it was, we started off and really talking. I think it really inspired a lot of people to, really start looking at their industries and how they can get involved, and, just from the simple things. And, I was telling you about that whole AWS thing, because, gamifying and gaming and all this stuff in the world that we're creating, right? Like, what if the world was just fun, right? And all of this information could be just interacted in a new way. Like the NFL, they put out the thing about the AWS and how they have all the players hooked up, and it excites me to think, like, man, can you imagine the Madden of the future, where, like, your player is actually performing as the player is on that field, and it changes all the time from their practices and all the things that we can do, and together we can create anything, man. It's been a dope conversation, man. I appreciate everybody, and Jay, I'd say, like, take us home.
Right. I appreciate that. I think, one of the things, Turbo, that you said right there is really important. And more of it is just really how, we relate all of this stuff and all this activity and all these ideas and concepts into reality. At the end of the day, the point really is that the sky's the limit. We're here to build, we're here to grow. And if you think it can happen, right? And that's the beauty of, Web3, of NFTs, of blockchain. I mean, again, think about how simple this concept is that you could mint the birth of a cow and then track that until the point where you got a steak on your table. These are the ideas, right? They're not into fruition yet, but we keep thinking about this, we keep developing and incubating. And I promise you, like, this future that we're trying to build and that we can conceptualize will one day come to reality. So with that being said, guys, you have yourself a great rest of your day. Call someone that you maybe haven't talked to in a while. If you don't have a Valentine, just reach out to someone and say, hey, happy Valentine's Day. And if you don't want to do that, put out a tweet. If typically all you do is retweet stuff and you've never put out a post of your own, just put out a simple happy Valentine's Day. I guarantee you someone will respond to you. And if you don't think anybody will, tag me, and I promise you that I will. Have a great rest of your day, guys. And we will see you tomorrow back here for some more Web3 Breakfast at 10 a.m. Eastern. Adios, amigos.